Hello and welcome into the 24/7 Sports YouTube studio. I'm Cooper Petagna alongside Carl Reed and Clint Brewster, and we got a lot to break down. That is 69 Power 5 quarterbacks ranked by our Clint Brewster. And Clint, a lot to get to, starting with quarterback number one. A lot of people thought that would be Caleb Williams, the Heisman winner from 2023 with the USC Trojans. But for you, it's Drake Maye. Break that down for us. Why'd you decide to go with the Carolina Tar Heel?
Yeah, I'm going Drake Maye, 6'5", 225 pounds. He's bulletproof in terms of you can't really find a weakness in his game. I think he takes the mental approach to a Peyton Manning, and he's got the physical perspective of a Josh Allen. You know, he threw for over 4,000 yards. He ran for 698 yards. That's almost 300 more than what Caleb Williams ran for. He's only 19 years old. He's only going to get better. That's why I went with Drake Maye.
Carl, you were on the other side of this argument, the low-hanging fruit. Your argument for Caleb Williams.
You got to go with Caleb Williams at number one, the defending Heisman Trophy winner. And from the first time we saw him take the field at Oklahoma and bring them back from down 28-7 against Texas, he has been a superstar, which is why he has the Heisman Trophy hanging up at his house. So it's easy to look at Drake Maye. He has all the intangibles. He has all of the tools. But I'm still a guy that believes you got to win something on the field. Abysmal performance last year against Georgia Tech, pedestrian performance against NC State, games that the guy that you're saying is the number one quarterback should win. So I'm looking to see Drake Maye take the next step, which is these Peyton Manning-like comparisons, and translate those to big performances on the field in big games. Caleb Williams has shown some of that. And the toughness that he showed at the end of the season, fighting through that game injured, he's got USC in a position to compete for a national championship this year. It might be Lincoln Riley's year to break through.
Hey, we're not the only people talking about, is it Caleb Williams, is it Drake Maye at number one? There's going to be a lot of NFL teams watching that as well to see how that unfolds. Now at number three, Sam Hartman, the transfer from Wake Forest, coming over to Notre Dame. Huge addition for Marcus Freeman. Why'd you like him here at this number three spot? Yeah,
he's got the best processing and diagnosis skills at the quarterback position in the country. He's thrown for nearly 13,000 yards, 110 touchdowns in his career. I mean, he doesn't really have the physical skill set that you want, but he can innately distribute the football so well. I think he's kind of like a Rich Gannon who was with the Raiders for a long time. I think that he compares really to him in a lot of ways.
All right, no surprise at number four, or maybe a little bit of a surprise, but Quinn Ewers, the former number one quarterback per the 24/7 Sports, highly ranked coming out, had some flashes last year, a little bit banged up, kind of up and down at times, but when it was good, it was really good. You have him at number four.
Yeah, in terms of sheer passing talent, I think he could be number one overall on this list. You know, he makes some throws that only a couple NFL quarterbacks, I think, could make. Obviously, he's got some arm arrogance. You know, there's some errant throws. You want to see him value the football more. But I believe in Steve Sarkisian. I believe in the weapons he has around him. I like what we saw in the spring game with Quinn Ewers. I think that he has a Heisman-like year, and he'll be drafted really high when it's all said and done.
All right, number five, rounding this out, Michael Penix, University of Washington. Him and Kalen DeBoer made a lot of sweet music last year as Washington won 10 games. Why him at number five?
Yeah, I really love Michael Penix and what he did last year with Ryan Grubbs. I think he's the best, maybe pure distance thrower, as you can see in his highlights. I think he's got some similarities to Geno Smith, who's right down the street with the Seahawks. The Seahawks might be looking for a quarterback here soon. Maybe they'll be looking right down the street with Michael Penix.
All right, so there's your top five from Clint Brewster. You, Carl, and I were talking about this before the show. The name that kind of stuck out that Carl kind of pushed back on you a little bit was Quinn Ewers. So, Clint, you kind of talked about the skill set. We know about the developmental upside, but what gave you the conviction to put him at the number four spot?
It was just everything that we talked about before. I think his passing talent really is supreme. I think that he's going to be a winner. He was a big-time winner in high school. He's still very young, but he can make all the NFL throws. I mean, he can really push the ball vertically downfield that what Steve Sarkisian wants to do in that offense, the weapons that he has around him. And it says something that Steve Sarkisian came out this spring very early on and said that there's no quarterback competition, that it's going to be Ewers' job. And I think that says a lot, because Malik Murphy right behind him is a really good player. Arch Manning obviously behind him. They're really good players, and it says a lot that there's no QB battle there.
Carl, you're still in the you gotta show me phase with the Quinn Ewers part of your relationship, but there's also another name that you probably would have considered in the top 5 as well. But why the pushback on Quinn Ewers?
Well, guys, do we value winning? Do we value what actually happens on the field? And one of the things that we get into when we talk about quarterback positions, when we talk about all groups, we're always talking potential. We're always talking about physical attributes, arm talent, size, speed, all of those things. But what happens when the scoreboard reaches triple zeros, guys? That has to matter. And J.J. McCarthy, the quarterback at the University of Michigan, has shown he can consistently lead his team to win. It was a time that we didn't think Michigan would ever beat Ohio State again. J.J. McCarthy has slayed that dragon. And Michigan has been in the playoffs the last 2 years. And I look for them to make another huge run this year behind J.J. McCarthy. He's a guy that has shown he can make throws. He has shown he can win. And I think that he's got to be ahead of Ewers, at least on my list, because winning ultimately is what matters at every level of football.
Well, I know you've seen it up close and personal at the high school level as well with J.J. McCarthy. All right, so now we're going to pivot a little bit with a couple of names outside of the top 10 and a couple household names in the SEC as well. I'm going to start with Mississippi State, Will Rogers. This is a name to keep an eye on throughout the fall that you think can really kind of elevate his stock going into this year.
Yeah, I like how they're going towards more of a pro-style offense at Mississippi State. He had a huge TD to INT discrepancy, threw 35 touchdowns compared to 8 interceptions last year. He torched Ole Miss, Auburn, Arkansas, Texas A&M. He really thrives on timing, anticipation, his delivery. I think he's going to have a huge Heisman-like year at Mississippi State.
Carl, you went with KJ Jefferson in the SEC West, another guy, him and Rocket Sanders. A lot of people say that's one of the best backfields in all of college football. What do you like about KJ Jefferson?
A lot of SEC teams going into this season with questions at quarterback. The Arkansas Razorbacks are not one of those teams. KJ Jefferson returns, coming off 2,600 yards, 24 passing touchdowns. He is the leader of that team, and him and Kendall Briles have made really good music together. It would not surprise me if he ended up as the first-team quarterback in the SEC this year. Pro scouts love him. KJ Jefferson is a guy to really take a long look at this season. I think he's going to have a special year for the Razorbacks.
Clint, the social media pitchforks, they're out for you already this morning as your article dropped on 247sports.com. That's where you can find it. Jordan Travis, Florida State, a lot of expectations coming in to this upcoming season. You had him ranked at number 13. Why is he not in the top 10?
Yeah, I just really want to see him. He's made huge strides as a passer, don't get me wrong. Alex Atkins has done a great job, really marrying the run game and the passing game, RPOs, bootlegs, play action, half-field reads, But I really want to see him develop as a drop-back passer. We saw some of those inadequacies against Clemson last year when he didn't really have the drop-back passing that you want to be a elite top 5, top 10 quarterback in college football. And I want to see him really grow in terms of just traditional drop-back passing. But he's got obviously a great skill set. I mean, he's undeniably talented. So that's why we put him at 13.
They're going to need him to take another step. They got LSU early this season in Orlando. That game provided a lot of fireworks last season as well. So quarterback battles, right? That's another thing we got our eyes on this season and in fall camp. Those are starting to brew a little bit. UCLA, we go out to the Big Ten. I was about to say Pac-12, but we go to the Big Ten. Former 5-star Dante Moore, he's in the mix there, and he's going up against Washington transfer Ethan Garbers. What are we looking for in that quarterback battle?
Yeah, apparently Garbers has a leg up right now from what's been reported, but I think that his experience right now, is valuable. His accuracy. He's a sharp passer. He started against Utah in 2021, and he had a great game. I think he showed what he can do, but ultimately, Dante Moore, the former 5-star, he's got the ability to take over college football. That's how special he is. I would be shocked if he's not on the field this year. I mean, you can't keep a guy like that on the bench.
I think regardless, expect him to be on the field. He's a perfect fit for Chip Kelly. Carl, Missouri, you got your eyes there. There's 3 names we got to consider: Brady Cook, Jake Garcia, and then Sam Horn as well in Missouri. In one of those spots, they got to get it right this year.
Well, Brady Cook is the guy that's coming back for the Missouri Tigers this year. Missouri is very excited. Great defense, great skill position players at the wide receiver, Luther Burden, Theo Weiss. There's some talent there. Brady Cook is going to have to show everybody that he can complete the passes downfield to exploit some of these receiver matchups they have. They bring in Kirby Moore from Fresno State to call plays as the offensive coordinator. Garcia and Horn, 2 very highly touted guys coming out of high school, both state champions in the state of Georgia. Everybody knows how tough it is to win state titles as a schoolboy quarterback in the state of Georgia. If Cook doesn't show early that he can consistently make the throws down the field, do not be surprised at all for Garcia or Horn to step in and take over control of this offense.
A lot of great stuff from our guys, Carl Reed and Clint Brewster. I'm Cooper Petagna. Guys, make sure to subscribe to the 24/7 Sports YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.